Welcome back. It's been quite some time, almost to the point where I had convinced myself I had actually watched this one. So, after delving through a list of things that I need to really get back to, and a little bit of back and forth and discussion, well, it looks like there might be some more comfy times ahead of us. If camping is not your thing, well, hopefully you can get something else from it. Some nice meals, some fun interactions with friends. If nothing else, just a good view. But what I really like out of Eurocamp, if I'm remembering correctly at least, is despite everyone having their own personal ways about doing things, not necessarily wanting to be part of the group, finding something that you can all enjoy together. It's gotta be good, isn't it? Now I just need to find people who actually share my hobbies. But really, sit down, get yourself comfortable. Maybe round a open fire. Let's see the stars together in some more Eurocamp. I really do enjoy seeing somewhat rural Japan in this countryside. Considering so many of its, even the roads and how they're set up are so foreign to how it is around here. The adventure-loving grandfather strikes again. Although, what is it this time that he's delivered? Before it was a bit of advice and steak. Black holes in the vast cosmos, what? What kind of scenery and adventures are waiting outside? For one like her, it's not... She doesn't feel right being stuck inside. Quick read through of the instructions, maybe give it a test. A test setup. How long did that take? Now, it's slightly odd to have a tent inside. But now she feels much more comfortable. Back into a natural environment. Getting the parent. Did we see him before? Or did we only see the other one? Good that they are supporting her adventures, much like the granddad. Ooh. It's got a very, obviously very stylized, but almost like beginning of a game CG opening menu type vibe to this one. And are they, the main question here, are they going to be able to get a new club room more than a meter wide? Now, camping probably isn't something that I would pick as a pastime. Pretty much anything. Any holidays I would spend firmly inside, but at least seeing the sights through another medium like this, that I can get behind. It's been so long since we saw the little tent. I see, that's why everything looks slightly off, was it? It's because this is a prequel to everything. It's her first journey out. It's how she got into it, right? I thought the character model looked a little stouter. Would also go behind why she needs to read the instructions. Well, good luck with the tent. I'm off. I'm not sure that would really fly around here, but having actual trust in the campsite and the people who frequent it must be nice. Yeah, you might want to tie that down. Get a rock. It seems the tent pegs are a little flimsy, or she doesn't know her own strength. Great, now she doesn't know what page she's on. Now she's got the idea for a fire. I can say for certain that anyone I know, even myself, if the idea of, I'm cold, I need to set up a campfire, getting, yeah, you're not going to just set light to the branches like that. Need some kindling at least. But yeah, the first thought for setting up a campfire wouldn't be, you know what, let's have a safety water bucket. Cut it down, yep, thin them out, create a few little bundles. How much has she learned from other people? And ah, he's on fire. How could they? The Pinecones laid down their lives valiantly. Now she can keep warm a little longer. But if this is her first little outing, the test bed for camping, you could definitely see that getting a little impatient. That's always a good sign when it comes to rice. Huh. Controlling temperature is a little difficult when you're working with open elements. Hopefully the bottom isn't burnt. I mean, if it's edible. Yeah, yeah. She has made a right. What's this phrase? Like dog's ear or that? Pig's ear? One of the two. I mean, how often is it that someone has a first attempt at something that they're doing practically from scratch, and it all goes flawlessly? As warm as you can be in times like this. A mouthful of rice, kind of crunchy though. Angel. If only we all had um, such a caring parents. Actually counting down the time until it's ready. How vehemently does anyone actually follow the times? Like, this needs to be in the boiling water for 4 minutes. A hearty meal. Good to see you're enjoying it, but from where we actually came from, what we saw later on, or previously, but in the future, the cooking has definitely improved. Little change of scenery and with maybe a little hunger, things definitely would taste. I was going to say sweeter, but you know what I mean. I mean, getting the baby steps in, learning a thing or two. She can always read later. Compared to how effortless it all looked before. Yep. Have a little itinerary, a little checklist of things to add. Looking into the boundless horizon. Might what might one day be. It's heartwarming to see people actually enjoying themselves, even if it's something as simple as just a bike ride and looking at the landscape. I'm What did it do with December? A job well done and a little gift for doing so. As far as part time jobs go, slightly exhausting. I knew quite a few of my old friends had a paper route and letter delivers as a first side job kind of thing when they were younger. I was far too lazy for that. Uh, yeah, you're not outside. She gets all the perks and benefits, doesn't it? She's the one facing other. Okay, it's worth it. And how long does her route take every time she sees the dog, though? Just an extra half hour added onto the route because you gotta stay and pet the puppy. Learning from, I would say professionals, but it's people who pretend to be professionals on the internet. She's being drawn to the dark side. Maybe one day, but she's not quite there yet. The camping bug hasn't bitten. Oh yeah, she was working at this liquor place, wasn't she? Oh, hard labour. Oh, she has a lot of days there. Yeah. Perfect plan. Can't go wrong with just, I'm gonna sleep a lot. there's there's so many things and so many things that you could do during your times off. Starting to rethink my entire life where it's I'm gonna stay inside and turn on the PlayStation. Is she feeling a little left out of this conversation? Abject poverty in regards to time. At least they're thinking of her. Well, despite her own ability to go out and visit these places herself, are not exact. It's not exactly going to pan out, but as long as she gets the souvenirs from it. I mean, got to get some writing practice in, but having things that I'm watching, like Hunter x Hunter or Jujutsu Kaisen, and then offset thanks with this. Just sit down. You don't have to worry about much. Maybe just bank balance a little. Just enjoy the time out. And it is good hearing voices that I've heard over and over again in other stuff. Come up with a battle plan. What they want to. What do you want to see and do during the time off? That sounds like a conversation I've had with my mother as well, apart from she's usually telling me to slow down when I'm driving. But hopefully it won't be any replays of what we saw in the previous season, though, with out of service roads and the like, just adding hours onto your journey. The imagination is... Learning a bit of local legends. Could have given him a better statue. Well, I think the decision has really been made, hasn't it? I mean, is there any way to sway off a decision when it comes to seeing a temple with a dog in it? Ah, yeah, it is 3D. I thought the lighting and shading looked a bit too good there. I've never thought of getting a moped or a motorbike properly. Still, to this day, probably won't ever do it, but both my brother and my dad are quite big into bikes. I guess there would be a certain freedom just being able to hop on and go, feeling a bit closer to the elements than we would in a car. Even if it is a little bracing and chilly. Gotta pay attention when you're out on the roads. Good road safety. Actually, look both ways. You'll have to avoid this road in the future. So you'll have to get some snacks. How did we know? Safety noodles. I think we could all do with some backpack pocket noodles. In fact, I'll probably go out and buy some, just in case. And I do like how, compared to other shows and slice of life, you don't have the friends always gathered. They have their own lives. Inuyoko-san. So yeah, there's a little bit of repetition when it comes to... But is this story true? Why is that in the club room? Solo camping. Another solo experience. And whether or not that guy actually knows the dad, or just like, oh, I saw this girl and she needed help and you look somewhat familiar. Oh, thanks for giving us some advice on how to set a fire. Hopefully too many pine cones didn't lose their lives here, though. Actually, there was thousands, little foresty, wooded bit across the road. Starting to get ideas. How many times have we set out to do something for the first time, read up all about it, find out the ins and outs of how to actually, well, in this case, set up a tent and survive in the wild, but when actually put into practice, it all falls apart rather quickly. I don't think there's really been a time where I've planned and it went through successfully. That's why I don't bother anymore. Just let it roll. We'll figure it out as it comes. But for a kind of solo experience that her form of camping is, going to a campsite where there are others who may know a little bit, but also are enjoying themselves with family, whether or not there might be teachers that are just looking for an excuse to drink. I'm not forgetting that one. What's my point? Oh yeah, despite it being a somewhat solo experience in camping, it's surprisingly much more of like a sense of community when you've got other people around you doing the same thing. Especially when you can just jump over, hi, I broke my grill. Can I borrow yours when you're done? Or as a slight ease back into things, welcome back to season 2. We're not gonna. Actually, no, it is gonna slap you around the face of exactly what you can expect from the series. Just a nice chill time. Little bit of hardships, but usually in the form of, oh, there's a bit of a breeze. But seeing them all somewhat independent with their jobs to fund their hobbies and their interests. How many other shows actually show the characters being kind of reliable and mature about it all? So rather than just kind of falling in their laps, it's not glossing over the fact they've got a job. It's not mentioning once, okay, they've got a job, that's how they do it. No, it just shows it. They're working now. They don't get time off. Not all at the same time. The harsh realities of life. But I'm sure all of this you, saw, but can work out for yourself as well. How much of it is relatable really depends on how outgoing you are relating to the outside world. And despite my earlier brief confusion about what was going on and noticing there was something odd, so why does it look kind of off-model? I'm glad it only took about 5 minutes for it to be confirmed. Yeah, okay, it's just a flashback scene. Her first journey. The initial interest thanks to the granddad dropping off a few supplies. To be fair, a lot of things which I picked up somewhat mid-childhood of kind of hobbies and interests, most of which I've dropped by now, to say, were inspired by my granddad. In fact, you can see some of the stuff back in the shelf there. The round DVD film reel case, Laura and Hardy, was something my granddad really introduced me to. Now, probably not quite as expensive as camping equipment and the like, but having an activity, even if it's just watching old movies and stuff, that you can share an interest with. I'm definitely never going to forget those times with my granddad. And hopefully you have your own stories of the like that you can reminisce and share. Of course, hers was a little more absent because he was off doing grand activities outside. But as a first episode goes, as long as they all follow the same kind of formula, which season 1 kind of proved that, just getting to enjoy a nice, relaxing time where we can basically turn off all our faculties except dopamine injectors and just enjoy the scenery. I want to see more. I'm glad I was reminded that I hadn't actually seen this. If you enjoyed, let me know. Leave a like and a comment down below if I said anything to entertain you, which, albeit, is unlikely. Consider subscribing to the channel. Make sure I get to see you for the next one. There's probably not many of you out there actually wanting to sit beneath the stars with me, but luckily we don't have to. We can stay on our phones, on our computers, just watching anime. So I need to thank each and every one of my patrons who make that a reality. And they are Noku, Raywin, Sal, Trayvon, Shiwan, Akane, Guado, Tori Jane, Kite, Light Wizard 91, Mega 42, Diego, Zenhausen, SZ 9870, Croyville, Maxwell, and everyone else. Once again, I really do want to thank them for lighting the fire under my channel.